Hey friends, welcome back to Storytime with Mr. Ellen. Today we're going to be looking at a picture book, a 2024-2025 Washington Children's Choice Picture Book Award nominee. This one is called Spanish is the Language of My Family. It's written by Michael Genhart and John Parra. And this is a book that I think is going to open a lot of people's eyes to some of the things that have happened in the United States in terms of language over the years. But this is the story of Spanish spelling bee, which we find out when we read the information in the back, has been an official spelling bee since 2011. So about 13 years. The first one took place in New Mexico. And now students from over 14 states are competing in the Spanish spelling bee every year, which is very cool. And it talks a lot about bilingual education in the United States. And so, of course, this student is proud to be bilingual. He's proud to speak English and Spanish because Spanish es la lengua de mi familia, is the language of my family, right? And so the language that he speaks when he goes home, the language he might speak with his parents or his grandparents. It's always so exciting to me when a student speaks 2 or 3 or 4 languages, and I think about my own childhood and not even knowing that there was a second language. And I feel like I kind of missed out on a lot of that in my childhood. And so it's really neat to me, this student speaking multiple languages. But then he sits down to talk with his grandmother, and she talks about how when she was young, she was punished for speaking Spanish. It wasn't allowed in schools. It wasn't allowed for her to speak any Spanish, and the punishments that she and her friends had to go through. And there's a whole generation of Latin folks, people who should be Spanish speakers but aren't, because they missed that opportunity because it wasn't allowed, this sort of back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s of the last century. And so he not only is he practicing his Spanish for this spelling bee, but he's getting this history, family history, American history, all these things that have happened. And of course it goes on and to the spelling bee itself. And, what word is he going to get? What is he going to have to spell? And I love the story, and I love the illustrations and the picture. And then even more so for me was the history in the back about bilingual education, about people being blocked from speaking their languages, both Latin speakers, Native American speakers, and how today bilingual education is still a hot topic for a lot of people deciding if it gets in the way of education, if it slows education down, if it stops people from learning English as quickly. As many of you may or may not know, our country doesn't have an official language. English is not the official language of the United States. And so how important it is for our Latin community to be Spanish speaking and have both those languages and to take pride in that. And it's talking about in here with the spelling bee how lots of non-native Spanish speakers are also starting to participate because they're excited about bilingual education. So this is a really cool book. Spanish is the Language of My Family. I hope you get a chance to read it. Happy reading. Bye.